Okay, continuing with our graphics library, I hope you were able to do the quadrilaterals, a stroke quad and a fill quad, and the circles, a stroke circle and a fill circle. I did those while the video was loading or being saved, so this is all I did. Stroke quad is decided to function, and just like the triangle, except we got 4 points, and then just begin path, move to, close path, stroke. Fill quad, I just copied and pasted, and just got rid of the close path and added the fill. Right, so kind of the same idea as the triangles. And then for the circle, just take it an X, Y, and an R, and then replace that here, X, Y, R, and the 0 to 2 pi means it's going to draw the full circle, not a partial circle. And then we just did the stroke and the fill. Is the only difference between these two. Okay, which then allows us to use those things in here, fill circle, stroke circle, fill quad, stroke quad, etc. And that's a good start, I think. All the drawing stuff works. This code was originally over 100 lines, like 110 lines. We've now got it down to 76 here, and it's a lot cleaner, right? All of this stuff here, we don't have to repeat every time I want to draw a quadrilateral. I don't have to repeat this every time I want to draw a circle. I can just do the one function call. Okay, now that's that mygraphics.js. Awesome. So what I'd like to do now is in the Simple Paint graphics library start, I uploaded this to GitHub and shared it with you in the video description. If we open that with code, let's shut this one down for now. Okay, and I'm going to open up my main.js. I want to use my graphics library here, although I didn't do that much drawing in here. All I did was I drew a line from the previous mouse X to the current mouse X, right? Whenever the mouse is pressed, I drew that line. So the drawing won't help me too much in here, but I also wanted to say our graphics library, wouldn't it be cool if it had this mouse is pressed and mouse X functionality as well? So I want to add that to my graphics library. All right, so let's go to, actually I want to go back to here. I want to take this file, so I'm just going to copy that. And let's go to my Simple Paint, and I'm going to paste it into here. And we can see it now inside of our Simple Paint. So we got to make sure we load our library, right? If I want to use this stuff, I got to go script source equals mygraphics.js. Beautiful. Now, before I can use it, remember, I needed to, actually, let's open this up, right? Graphics library, it requires a global canvas and context, which it has, canvas and context, but I should also call it init graphics. So I'm going to go init graphics, and I'm going to pass in 800, 600. So I don't need that anymore. Okay, good. And now what I should be able to do, let's just clean this up. I didn't update any variables. I just said this mouse is pressed. Stroke style, great. Line width, line cap to make it draw smoother. This right here. I can replace all of that with a context.line from previous mouse X, previous mouse Y to the current mouse X, current mouse Y. And let's get rid of all of that code. And again, just I've got my graphics library. It's got a line function in it. It does, yep, right here. So we should be able to use that. And just cleans it up, makes it a little easier. Okay, so let's save that. I should go live with this. And hopefully, yay, it still draws a line and all my colors and stuff are working. No errors, awesome. Okay. So that's just using kind of a quick example to show you how do you use the graphics library. You make sure the file's in your project folder, and then load the library with your script tag, and inside of main.js, you just got to make sure you do that init graphics after setting up the canvas and context variables. Great. Now, I also want to simplify this program because this mouse is press variable, and we have these document event listeners, mouse down, mouse up. We'll just set it to true and false. Wouldn't that be convenient in multiple programs, you know, instead of having to set this up every time? I think that should be part of my graphics library. Okay, so I'm going to set that up as, let's cut this. I'm going to set that up as a global variables for part of your graphics library. Okay, and actually, you know what? Let's actually leave all of this stuff here. Let's just call this my this is my init graphics, which will set up our initialize, canvas, and the draw functions. And maybe down below this, let's have a section for mouse stuff. I love it, mouse stuff. So we'll have a global variable called mouse is pressed, and we'll do our, actually I'm just going to copy and paste because we have it all right here. Mouse down and mouse up. I'm going to cut that and put it into here. Those are my event listeners. And then these were the event functions that listened. We'll cut that and paste it into here. And you know what? Since this is just one little line of code, this might be a place where instead of having a whole other function for this mouse down handler, why don't we do a function, an anonymous function in here, function where I just go mouse is pressed is assigned true, right? That little one-liner. And then same here on mouse up, we'll just go mouse is pressed is assigned false. And then we don't need these separate functions because I'm not going to reuse those functions. They're just very specific one-line little things. When the mouse is pressed down, set it to true. When the mouse is up, so it's released, then mouse is pressed is false. Okay, so that'll deal with the mouse is pressed stuff. And since this library runs before I run main.js, it'll declare that as a global project variable, mouse is pressed. So this mouse is pressed right here should work. And I can keep all the code inside of here for it, and we can use this in other programs as well. The mouse is pressed will just work. Okay, let's just test that to make sure. Still going good. Awesome. Okay, next up is also the variables mouse x, mouse y, previous mouse x, previous mouse y. Again, we had to do some calculations here by getting the canvas rectangle and using the event. Where did I click on the screen? And subtract from the x value from the canvases from the left edge, etc. So all of this code I think would be useful in other programs, right? If I'm doing something with graphics and a canvas, having a mouse is pressed, having these variables for mouse x, mouse y, previous mouse x, mouse y would be useful. So I'm going to cut those and put them into here. And then we need the mouse move. So we'll cut that and put that into here as well. And I'm going to add this. I don't think I want to do a function expression on this one. It's a little bit of a bigger function. But I do want to add a lib for library, just in case the user wants to add another mouse move handler. They might call it mouse handler. They might call it mouse move handler. But if I add the lib on here, it's doubtful they'll call it that, and it won't conflict with their thing. This is the mouse move handler for the library. Okay, which is function mouse move handler lib. Beautiful. And we'll take this code right here. Copy and paste that in. We will need our event parameter, right, to get information about where the mouse clicked. Event.x, event.y. So previous mouse x will be saved to the current mouse x, mouse y, and then we'll update mouse x, mouse y because we just moved the mouse. Okay. And we've got the global variables here. All right, that should work. So now I don't need to have this here. Now the key down stuff, this is specific to this project. I think we can leave that. But the mouse stuff was definitely something that would be useful in a library, because other programs would definitely, I could see it commonly being used, mouse X, mouse Y, and the mouse is pressed as well. Okay, so these variables are already being used in here, but they're now just stored and dealt with inside of our library. All right, save that, and still working like a charm. Okay, awesome. And now look, our library, we just load this library, and all of a sudden, init graphics made it really easier to set up the width and the height, and added this functionality so that we could use a mouse's press variable that's from our library. It used these global variables here from our library. It allows us to use the line function, right? Just kind of makes things a little slicker. Okay, I don't know why I don't usually say slick. I've used that in these videos a couple times now. Anyway, smoother, efficient. Functions are about organization and efficiency. We're organizing our code into a separate file where we're grouping all these graphic stuff that fits together. And it's also reusability, right? We're making these modules that can be reused not only in one program, but in multiple programs. That's awesome. Okay, this now looks pretty good. Canvas, some global variables for size and pen color. We got our loop here with our wonderful library variables that we created, and function key down handler does its thing. Oh, the only thing maybe I would fix now is, now that we know about function expressions, the set red, set green, set blue things are a little, they could be function expressions here, but you know, no big deal. Okay, that's that. So if you, now again, if you wanted to use this graphics library in a program of your own, all you need to do is take this file, put it into your project folder, load the graphics library first, initialize the graphics, and away you go. Right after you set up your canvas and context, initialize the graphics, and you can use these global variables. You can use the draw functions, and you're running. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. You can see the power of libraries. I think in the assignment here I had an idea. I have to type it up yet, but I wanted you to do some extensions to the graphics library. I thought it would be cool if there could be like a collision, click detection and collision detection. You could go, you know, context dot, you know, circle clicked, and that would be a function that would take in two circles, two circle objects. Circle 1, hello, circle 1, and circle 2, and this would, you know, return true or false depending, oh, I'm doing two circles. That would be for circle intersection or circle collision. Circle click, true or false. If circle, and why do I need a circle 1? If circle is clicked. Right? So actually you might also want to, I think in our math library we did distance. It might be useful to have a dist function in this library, because if you think of graphics, right, on the canvas, you might want to know the distance between 2 points. It might make sense for this dist function to, instead of being in the math library, maybe it would make sense to be into this graphics library, right? Find the distance between 2 points. Anyway, that's what I'd like you guys to do in the assignment. I'll probably get you to do that, add a dist function, and then, you know, click detection for circles and rectangles, and collision detection for circles and rectangles. And I'll give you some hints on how to do that stuff as well. Okay. Hopefully you found that very useful, seeing how this graphics library can be used in multiple programs, and it'll make things easier. You can also share it with other programmers, right? Say, hey, I've got this graphics library, give it a try. Later on in the course, you can also explore other libraries that other programmers have made to add functionality to JavaScript. I know there's some with like 3D stuff and virtual reality libraries and things like that. So lots of things to explore. Okay, anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Hopefully that made sense. Graphics library, hooray. Take care. See you in the next video.